12, I was put on medication for antidepressants, and I was told that due to a chemical imbalance in my brain, I would be on medication for the rest of my life. And this month marks 10 years since I made the personal decision to stop taking antidepressants. This poem is called Left Opened.
Let's go.
I once watched a kitten leave his home for the first time. His transition to being allowed outdoors. And he walked carefully, one step and then back, a glance in our direction. "Are you sure?" he asked us. "Yes," we answered. Our smiles were very encouraging. But after he looked away and returned to his measuring of the distance between the landing and the first step down, I turned to my roommate and I smirked. "There's nowhere I'd rather be than here watching this with you," I told her. I said that because this kitten was hilarious. He was skittish in a stubborn way, proud that he was afraid of everything that even slightly impeded the path which he took daily through the kitchen and back, his routine. Then, not ever again. For when all the hesitation was done, and he jumped from that first step onto the driveway and disappeared from our view for what ended up being the whole day, I realized that what comes after escape isn't very fun to watch. When I was 8, I imagined that I lived inside of a box, transparent. Maybe nobody knew it was there, but I did. I could see it, the shimmering of the glass, and I could feel it. The warm reverberation from the condensation splattering from my breath. Don't make a mess. So I held it. Until one day I realized that when people thought about me as they did occasionally, the word that came most easily to them was shy. I'm shy. I repeated their words back to myself and decided I agreed with them. Why? Because this word gave me an I, the girl from the far outside, but this last line I pulled from a poem that I wrote when I turned 13. I called this poem, I'm in There. And inside of it, this rebellious memory, I wrote my words, yes, these at least were mine, out. And I rhymed them. Realized that I had a pretty good vocabulary and that shy wasn't a word that I ever really wanted to describe me, but now, as if I were a pen stroke and this word, a glob of whiteout, it defined me. So I wrote, as often as possible, I would like to be referred to instead as the girl with no name. This wasn't a sad poem. No, these were fighting words, written so that I would be heard. I never spoke them out loud. They appeared only as graffiti, spray painted onto glass. Look, I haven't gone anywhere. I'm just hiding. Anxiety is how they diagnosed me less than a year later. Depression, meaning I wasn't very good at being invisible. Your mind is sick, they told me, strapped to a bed in a ward, no door, trapped, not hiding. Tough is how I remember finding this diagnosis. Escape is what I decided I needed to do next. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. And so the battle with my brain began. I took that box and I stretched it into a high-rise, watched from the sidelines. It's one of those you can do at signs, and started mounting it with an ice pick and a can of spray paint. I identified the sky as my destination. I started climbing high. I'd fall a few times, but always try again. I believed a lot of things, but never that escape was something I wouldn't be able to achieve. Maybe not with ease, but eventually. This is where I started to run into problems because the almost illogical warmth of luminescent glass, mirrors, and especially screens is something that I think I love. You could call it the sun, the fumes from that canister of spray paint giving me my very own pair of unalterable wings, carrying me up as I grew up to become something better than, well, let's start with something better than shy. I remember you that night, he told me. It had been a year since the first, and before that moment, the only time we met, and when I saw him again, I smiled. Because he was attractive, but also because I recalled how little I'd said before. So when he said this to me, I saw it as an opportunity. Really? What do you remember? Tell me, because I wanted to use this moment to consensually disappear into his memory. Yes, I remember you that night, he said to me. I remember that you were like a wall. When I got home later that night, I scrawled his words into my journal. I wrote, "I'm a wall," and I pictured my body as glass filling a window, fragile but beautiful. Then crossed that out. No, I'm behind the wall, meaning this wall must be crazy strong. But I'd be pretending if I told you I was offended when he told me this, that he could feel it in the same way that I could see it, and that together we made every sinew, every brace true. When seen for the first time as everything you've always imagined yourself to be, I think what you're supposed to say is thank you. Only somehow I found that I disagreed. When I was 8 years old, I imagined that I lived inside of a box. You could easily interpret this box as anxiety, but the walls were first still a product of my own imagination. The walls were mine, and I built them with glass, with ice, so they'd melt with time, or break with a mistake, a loss of balance, a few stitches, a baseball bat. Yes, I do agree that the sensations and the bullet points match, but I am not actually trapped inside of a box. So let's talk about how lonely it feels to be told that you don't work, that you're someone who needs fixing. It's confusing to be made responsible for thriving inside of a word that was meant always to explain me, because always is a phenomenon that I've never actually seen. If you have, maybe you can teach me about forever, but if you haven't, let's talk together about healing, a process that will have a lot less to do with you and more to do with we. These walls have been here for a while, separating and protecting, but I'm still not just remembering goosebumps, the quiet pitter-pattering of question marks on my skin. And I'm not just listening to the many, many voices being whispered at midnight through the stale air. I'm aware that my mind might be troubling to you. It's just that it didn't always feel troubling to me. And so I believe that I might have at least a little bit in common with that cat. The pattering tap of my heart doesn't know how to beat to the rhythm of trapped. Imagine that.